play.
My name is Clara Towson, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
I am Francisca George, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Susan Leemans, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom. Yeah.
My name is Zainab Sammaz, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hey guys, my name is Sasha Vickery, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Harris, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Paolini, and I'm a friend of the show.
Wow, Jasmine, you got it in one time.
Boom. Hello. Welcome to Last Ball Drops. This is an interesting show. Obviously, the last ball dropped on Chatrier about 45 minutes ago. But we still have some Stamp of Rinka heroics. That means that play has not fully stopped yet at Roland Garros. And we'll probably bring you updates of that as we go. But we've got a lot to unpack. And I'm very pleased to be doing that with Mr. Miles David, friend of the show. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. It's been a long day at Roland Garros and full of rain and potential upsets, almost upsets, but I'm ready to talk about it all.
Yes. Well, I have to say, I had an interesting time with probably what will go down as being the headline match of the day, in danger of already being match of the tournament. The tournament may have peaked too early. But, when I was like, there was a point during that third set where I was like, I can't believe I have to go on to Last Ball Drops with Miles because he's going to be so smug. And, it's my turn. In fact, it is myself who is feeling very smug right now because it is Iga Swiatek who keeps her French Open defense on track, but only just winning 7-6, 1-6, 7-5 in an epic with fellow four-time Grand Slam champion Naomi Osaka. I had a bizarre experience watching this match, but before we go into that, Miles, how was that match for you?
I'm loving the producer's choice of picture. I feel like that's a trend now on tennis Twitter where you take a screenshot or a screen grab of the match score and say so and so won this match. And I knew they were going to do it if Iga actually came back. And I was thinking about it while it happened. And I don't actually think I would have come on the show smug if Osaka had won. I would have been happy. But I would have been smug enough to assume she was going to win the whole thing. I just would have really, really enjoyed that win as a staple in her comeback. And I think that would have been a top 5 win for her, even including the Grand Slam success. I think that would have been a top 5 win for her with everything that was going on with Iga. However, a great match, a really great match. I'm excited that they played once again and it lived up to what we've expected and what's kind of been talked about, but not actually lived and experienced yet about what a rivalry between those two could look like. And yeah, I wouldn't say I'm jaded because again, I always keep in the back of my mind that I don't think Osaka was going to win Roland Garros and she may have lost the next round because, she's not a genuine true clay courter yet. But great match, great entertainment, and this is what I want to see in the Grand Slams. I want to see high stakes and comebacks and on the brink of success, all that stuff.
Are you sure she's not a clay courter yet? Because this match
I'm positive.
Probably is.
I'm positive. Yeah, I mean, I think someone said, I don't know who it was, but I just saw it on my timeline that she doesn't really. It's very obvious that Osaka isn't innate about sliding. Granted, sliding isn't the only thing you need to know how to do well to be a proper clay court player, but you can tell there's still room for improvement. And it may not ever be 100% for Naomi, but her track record this clay court season is about as best that we've ever seen her play on clay, but I still wouldn't say she's a true clay court, especially going up against the likes of Iga. And that kind of bared itself in the tight moments of the match. It was a mixture of that and also nerves from the person that had the match on their racket, i.e. Naomi Osaka. So
Yeah, because you make some interesting points there with the Osaka match at Osaka, because she kind of just decided to hit through the clay and really just swing for it in a style that we've seen Elena Ostapenko make work on clay, because when she won the thing in 2017, it won the French Open, but not necessarily sustainable. But in the right circumstances, as Naomi has showed today, it does work. And maybe she was the better player for most of the match, apart from some key moments.
Yeah, up 4-1 in the third set. Well, I think the screen grab we just saw was 5-2.
4-1 then 5-2, yeah.
4-1, 5-2. Yeah, she was the better player for large chunks of that match. Just closing it out seems to be something that she is struggling with, but it kind of tracks because her very first match post-pregnancy on the comeback trail was like what, New Year's Day of 2024, and we're 5 months into the year. So I mean, I would imagine even the best players in the world can still find themselves struggling with the feelings that come up when it's time to really close out a really pressure-filled match. And you can't get more pressure and like stress, I guess, than playing the world number one player who's a two-time defending champion at a major. You really can't get bigger than that. And I think that's what she was battling, along with a really damn good clay court player and player in general in Iga. So
yeah.
To be expected, kind of, sort of. But she also is a 4-time champion, and she's been in similar situations. So, I don't know.
We're into a tiebreak between Kotov and Wawrinka, by the way. In the fourth set, so Kotov gets this. He's won the match. I'll keep half an eye on it. But I wanted to go back on that point you made about it. And I would say the actual match point, like, Naomi didn't do a lot wrong. Iga really just went for that return and kind of caught and basically won that point. And you could kind of see what happened in all the points afterwards, but I don't think the actual match point Osaka will have many regrets about.
Yeah, she did her best. And Jake is asking in the comments, what were my expectations for Naomi going into the match? I jokingly, like, kind of tongue-in-cheek said that she was going to win a set. And then I actually saw that she won a set. It's like, oh, a 6-1 set at that. I actually can't remember the last time. Can you remember the last time, Nick, that someone gave Iga a 6-1 set?
Ever? God.
In recent memory, I can't think.
No, I'm trying to think, because I don't think Noshkova achieved it in Oz. I don't think it's happened this year. Ostapenko.
2023 US Open. Okay, so it's been some months. Got it. Okay. And she's played really well since that US Open. So I thought she would be able to kind of sneak out a set, not 6-1, but she did what I thought would be her best option in the match, which is basically do stand and deliver tennis. She was aided by the fact that the roof was closed and it was playing a little bit quicker because of that. But I think if she has anybody with half of a tennis IQ that I have, or probably they all have more than half of a tennis IQ in her camp, I would hope. But just play your game. Try your best to make some adjustments for the surface, but your game is effective enough to cause damage to Iga. And that's what she did for most of that match, which makes their rivalry even more entertaining going forward. And I hope they keep meeting each other. I think Osaka said herself in the post-match press conference that she can't wait to play her on hard courts, because that's kind of more her domain, and it could make for a matchup that if they play the exact kind of match, maybe some of those errors, some of those small things that went against Naomi can go for her. However, I do want to say, I don't know if I've said this yet, but I'm very impressed with Iga being able to like tap into her fighting spirit, because that's always been something that is, I shouldn't say always, but it's been something that I've noticed. When things are kind of going wrong, she can sulk, which is a natural human reaction to not getting your way. Trust me, I know. But she can sulk, and it can kind of just go wayward and really far left on the tennis court. And I saw that happening in the match, but she switched it. As soon as it was time and her back was really up against the wall, she said, no, I'm not going to sulk throughout this match. And I'm going to at least make Osaka beat me, and Osaka couldn't do it on the day. So I do respect Iga a lot for that. Quite a lot.
And
I should say.
Yeah, she does that. She really does. She has this ability to kind of, maybe she'll get through it, and then like when the crunch time comes, she locks down. And we've seen that in other kind of tough comebacks that she's pulled off in recent majors as well. I think that I will say this, that I was watching that match and I was refusing to I basically refused to rule Iga Swiatek out of winning that match until game set match was called. Like even that match point, you could feel the tension. I thought Iga's probably could well save one. Yeah, she proved it. And like, I was listening to the following the score, and we got to kind of 2-5, 3-5. I was like, she can still do this. 1-4. She's done this against Danielle Collins. She can definitely do this at Roland Garros. Like I was basically going, you can't really rule Iga Swiatek out of a fight unless she's really not feeling it.
Especially on that court.
Yeah.
Especially on that court. Like she's not, I think this win is now 17 matches in a row at Paris. And I'm sure of those 17, a lot of them have been on Philippe Chatrier because she's been the champion there every year of this decade except one. So yeah. She enjoys that space that is on that court. She enjoys the clay. And I think similar-ish, because no one's going to win 14 of these things ever again, but similar to Rafa Nadal, there is some magic that happens for a player that can find their groove on a court. I think back to Venus Williams at Wimbledon. She's won Wimbledon sometimes where she shouldn't have, I guess, Roger at Wimbledon sometimes, and Rafa at the French, even Djokovic at Australia. Like there's just something that happens with a player on a court that has been special to them. So
yeah. Did Serena have that court?
I think she was able to bring her aura multiple different places. I think
she doesn't have a place. She's just
she's just her. Yeah, there's been matches that she should have lost in Australia, the French, Wimbledon, and the US Open. Yeah. And she's managed to pull them back. So
we're changing ends at 3-3, by the way, in this tiebreak. It's a very close contest between Kotov and Wawrinka. Okay, we're going back to this match. I do want to share my experience of it because it was weird. So match started when I was working, so around sort of 4:00, 4:30 UK time. So I couldn't watch it. Like I was actually in a big meeting when it started. So
could it have been an email?
No.
It couldn't have been an email? Darn.
No, no, it could not. And I had a tennis match booked at 6 p.m. So basically I stick on audio commentary of the match and listen to it whilst I'm finishing off my working day. And then when I get in my car and I'm driving, and the moments where I'm listening is where Iga saves set point and then goes on to win the tiebreak. I then get out my car, get changed into my tennis gear, do some quick stretches, and then head out. By the time I get back in the car, Naomi is double breakup. Iga wins a game whilst I'm listening in the car.
So you're the culprit.
Then I get out the car, I play my tennis match. I lose 6-love in less than an hour. I think it's the quickest loss I've ever had in my life.
I would be in a corner crying right now. I wouldn't be doing a show.
But there's and half of it was my opponent was that good, and the other half was my mind was kind of elsewhere. And it was also crazy windy. I then get back in the car. It's Iga's at 2-5.
How long were you in that car from 2-5 down? How long were you in the car?
I get from the car to my house. By the time I get in my house, it's 4-5. Maybe it's 3-5 actually. I think it was time for the change of ends. Stick on. I definitely saw the match point save, and then I watched the match to its completion. What I'm trying to say is, I was only watching whenever I turned on, Iga started winning.
So I feel like there's a connection you all have. Yeah, there's a connection. So the next time that Naomi and Iga play, you need to find a tennis match to play.
I think what I'm taking away from this is I'm not missing another Iga match at Roland Garros.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing about Iga getting through this is that I looked at her draw. I think Danielle Collins still lurks, but I know Collins has had a stellar season in general. But me personally, I still have my reservations that there's other people that can find a gear ahead of her, especially Iga on the clay surface. So I'm not circling that as it's a threat, but not a potential upset to me. Collins versus Iga, and then the rest of the field, kind of like see you later. So I think if she got through that, if she can,
I feel like if Iga got through that, she can get through a lot of other matches. We have to see, of course, because there is a pattern that's emerged, and so Iga's kind of had a couple of get out of jail wins in recent slams. She saved match point against Bencic at Wimbledon, lost to Svitolina in
she sure did. I forgot about that. Wow.
We don't talk about the US Open.
Why not?
The Ostapenko loss. Then she lost that one. No, but then Australia, she comes from 1-4 down against Danielle Collins, loses to Noshkova in 2 tough sets, 3 tough sets, even. So
I see what you're saying.
I don't know if her third round opponent is going to be a similar kind of threat as Noshkova or Svitolina would be, but that's a pattern that she needs to break. I think out of the 2 options, it's Bushkova or Jana Fett. Bushkova would be the more dangerous one of the 2, and I'm not entirely sure Bushkova is consistent enough, unless she decides. But Bushkova decides to lock down because she sees Iga's vulnerable.
It's not happening. Iga's going to win that match like 6-3, 6-2, 6-2, 6-4. I'm not worried. I think she breaks the streak of getting tested, saving a match point, and going out in the next one. Bushkova and Fed are going to give her tons of time to do what she kind of wants, which maybe there's a minute chance that maybe too much time is a bad thing. But yeah, there's not a threat until Collins. I mean, the only people, there's just no threat on paper. None whatsoever.
Not on paper. But then some people said that about Noshkova. Oh, we've got a match point on Chatrier. I think producer probably would have already seen it, but Kotov has 6-5 on the Wawrinka serve. I think Wawrinka may have already saved one, but Kotov has match point. We'll go back to the results of we'll come back to the Iga Osaka match and wrap up there in a minute, but I do want to see what happens, because we may well see the last ball drop on this stream. I don't know if you've got this on Miles. Forehand of Wawrinka up the line. Backhand from Kotov, but Wawrinka's forehand is long. Kotov raises his arms in celebration, and he ends down Wawrinka's run at the French, and he sets up a rematch from Madrid against Yannick Sinner.
They played in Madrid. Was it a good match? Kotov and
they did. Kotov pushed him.
I like this Kotov guy. I was going to call him a kid, but I have no idea how old he is. Let's double check that, because I don't think I've heard of him before this season. Honestly, I really haven't. Oh, he's 25, which is not old. But no. that's middle of the road ish in tennis. But I like him. He's industrial looking. Like I want to go. Like I wouldn't. If we had to dig some holes and I had to look through the top 100 rankings, I'd pick Kotov to help me dig some holes or something of that nature.
I was really worried where you were going with that, Miles. Anyway,
he just looks strong. Like he looks. Most tennis players look strong, but they also. They lean towards being lean because that's what the sport probably it gives them more advantage to. But he looks like Hamad Medjedovic. And Kotov are built they're kind of tankish, and I like that. And so was Stan in his prime. So I like that.
Stan in his day looked like a real tank.
Swarna said that was weird. Maybe I should say if I needed somebody to go chop down trees instead of dig a hole. Yeah, chop down trees. Kotov is coming with me.
Okay, we'll get the lumberjacks and we'll be okay. Slight Monty Python reference for anyone who knows it. Is there anything we want to wrap up with the Iga Swiatek Naomi Osaka match before we kind of move on? Because obviously that is the big talking point of the day. Obviously, I think Iga won it by I think we kind of summed up a lot of it. Iga won that match by going into lockdown. and making the situation super tense for Naomi.
I can't call it the match of the year. I think there's been some debate on different
I've seen that
on platforms. I can't call it that because Naomi didn't win. But it's fine. It was a really, really well contested match and a lot more competitive than I thought it was going to be. Honestly, it really, really was.
Yeah, same here. I think even like Damien said in our group chat that he thought that like basically he was predicting Naomi would get 4, maybe 5 games because her Iga would expose her movement completely, and she'd only win games by serving really well. And well,
she did do that.
Yeah.
She did win games by serving really well. Yeah,
really, she
but
held
more than
a
4.
lot more. Yeah,
I do love the matchup though. Like they expose, especially on clay, they expose what the other has as a weakness. Like exposing Osaka's movement is what Iga does well, and exposing the fact that Iga does not like to be rushed is what Osaka does to her game, and I like that. That's like that's the core of the matchup.
And I think hard court, when they play on hard, is going to be interesting. I think if they're playing on a quick hard court like US Open, Naomi, it probably gets that one. I think
if she's firing, if her shots are landing, then yeah. But Iga is a very good defender too, so that's why I love matchups like that.
Yeah, if you go Indian Wells or Doha, it flips back to Iga. It's going to really depend on conditions. Going to depend on the day. I mean, I think that if you're a Naomi fan, this is giving you this is making you optimistic for a run at a 3rd US Open.
Hopefully,
dream final Osaka Collins
for the US Open. Yeah, I'd love that. I would like to see her either on the precipice of seeded or seeded at the US Open. I'm not sure how that's going to happen because we go into the grass season now, and then we go back to clay for the Olympics, which only give you like a smidge of ranking points, I think. So maybe that's a little bit of a stretch, but is she even in the top 100 now based off that second round result? I doubt it.
Can check, but maybe check the live ranking. Yeah, I doubt as well. What I do want to kind of come in on is the I want to agree with on foot. By the way, this is great for the WTA. And I also agree that if this match was played outside, this may have ended up being much more how you and Damien and myself originally thought it would have played out. But I was going to say on the match of the year thing, I'm agreeing with you. Madrid is still the match of the year. I think the tension at the end of this match caused the level to drop a bit. Whereas that didn't really happen in Madrid. And also Madrid was between the top 2 players in the world right now on a surface that kind of suited both of their strengths in conditions that suited both their strengths. It went down to the wire and it was a final. The only way that match could have been better is if it was a Grand Slam final.
Yep, would agree. Yeah, Osaka can probably break the top 100 with a good run in the next month or 2. I just don't know where it's going to come because we know clay courts have been a question mark in her career, but grass courts are even a bigger question mark. So I don't know when it's going to happen, but it's coming. It's coming soon. It's coming.
It may well be coming. Yeah, I would be surprised if she wasn't top 100 soon. She's on her way. I mean, let's see, because if she picked up on clay, she should pick up on grass, and in many ways, grass should suit her more.
Oh, absolutely. I've always thought that. It just hasn't come to fruition. If she's spot serving like she did in this match and hitting big, then yeah, no one's going to want to deal with that on a grass court that's going to have half of those shots be skidding past them, or skidding into their body. Nobody's going to want to deal with that. She just has to kind of implement her game. And I think the surface has been in her head a lot much more than it should be. So we'll see.
We'll see. But Iga marches on and looking.
Did you have that in your back pocket?
No.
I would have said the same thing. I would have said Osaka marches on had she won. So
Iga marches on, and it's hard to see whether she's going to be stronger or whether she's showing signs of weakness. I do think Sabalenka Rybakina will be taking note. and hoping that the final is played indoors. But right now, I think she's showing how hard it is to beat her on clay right now. And actually, I will say this: she is obviously on the streak at Roland Garros. She's also on a 14-match winning streak since the start of Madrid. And she saved match points in 2 of those matches.
Yeah, that's a great streak. Is the streak happening? Is she about to go on like the next Iga streak?
Talk to me after the French Open. It's looking positive for that. And I would argue that this streak would, like, if she does get that French Open, this streak would be almost on par with the 37 match, because whilst it wouldn't be as long, if you're saving match points and getting really tested during those, versus 37 matches where you are the clear favorite, I feel like that's about similar kinds of achievement. But we're talking a bit too far ahead, because she needs to win the French Open for it to be a streak and for it to be impressive.
That's true. I think the question here on the screen, where do we see Osaka at the end of the year in the rankings? I would go as far as to say top 50. And I say top 50 because I can imagine her ranking is going to be below top 50, even though I would like to see her seated at the US Open. That's kind of a dream. If she doesn't go into the US Open seated, I mean, she's going to be out. She's going to be outside the top 30. A good run, say she's already in the top 80 or so at the beginning of the US Open, she gets to the quarters or better, I can see it. That's going to push her up into the top 50, maybe top 40. So I can see thereabouts at the end of the season. Hopefully.
Yeah, I can see that. Where's she in the race right now?
Not a clue.
I think we should look up the race.
I'm looking it up now. She's 42 in the race and 130 something in the official rankings. So that's half. So that means she's playing better than her ranking is right now, which is what you want to do on a comeback, really. So
that's, yeah. I mean, let's face it, you would expect Naomi Osaka to play better than her ranking right now. Someone else who might be playing better than their ranking, Sofia Kenin.
She's winning the whole thing.
Caroline Garcia. Okay.
I jokingly did say that. I did say that on Twitter, tongue in cheek, like I normally do. But if it happens, I won't necessarily be upset, because I do want to. I know people use the phrase "in the mix" ad nauseum. I would like to see Sofia Kenin in the mix. She's already won her Grand Slam. She's been a top 5 player, I do believe. I think she's been top 5.
Yeah.
In 2020, 2021, I'm sure she was somewhere on the top 5. And she brings entertainment just kind of naturally. So yeah, I'm pleased with the fact that she got that win over Garcia today. Garcia continues to be such a head scratcher to me. But interestingly enough, that head to head, Kenin has not dropped a set, and now there are 3 meetings. She has not dropped a set. So there's something that works that in that matchup that Kenin likes and Garcia must hate. So yeah,
it looked like Kenin kind of gritted that one out, as she does, and Garcia's aggressive return position wasn't doing her any favors, from what I heard. But yeah, Kenin on clay, Roland Garros, she's got history here. Obviously, the first victim in a Roland Garros final to Iga Swiatek. But in a match that actually she was in that match for a good chunk of it. In
the French Open final,
2020, yeah, because she went on run about 3 games and made that first set quite close. Probably tested Iga over the course of a set more than a lot of other people did in that tournament.
That's as many games as she lost in one set was 4. So yeah, he tested her.
Yeah, well, there you go. That was Iga in 2020. Probably also Iga now to a certain extent. But with Kenin, I think it was a positive win. I kind of saw this one coming. I won't lie. I think Kenin's previous Roland Garros history and her Rome run versus Garcia's patchiness and not getting that far at Roland Garros. I didn't even know about the head-to-head, to be honest. That was kind of making me go, probably Kenin's getting through this one. And yeah, so Grand Slam champion, getting through that. And actually, I believe her record in Grand Slams is actually pretty good. Like, regardless of how patchy she is on tour, when she gets to a slam, she does actually bring her best. She's got over 50% winning record in pretty much every slam.
Garcia does?
No, Kenin.
Oh, I was about to say Garcia just lost to somebody in Australia that she shouldn't have lost to.
Kenin.
I think it was Magdalena Freck or something. But yeah, Kenin. That's kind of why I like Kenin. I did not always like her. I think Jake said in the chat that he could never take to Kenin. Trust me, I know how that feels. But I still don't like have her as a poster. I don't have anybody as a poster on my wall at my big age now. But I wouldn't do that for Kenin. But I do want to see her rightfully. I shouldn't say rightfully. You have to earn your spot in the top 10. But I feel like she has the pedigree to be in the top 10 and could be a headache for a lot of the players that are currently in the top 10. So that's kind of what I want to see her way up higher in the rankings, because she's a good player. When she's playing her best, she really does, like you said earlier, she's gritty, and I feel like that's what's been missing in her game. She's kind of just been really too passive and letting like matches that she should win just go by the wayside. But this was a match that she had an opportunity to play well. She did, and she got the upset on paper because Garcia is seeded. So
she is. I mean, there are more than 10 Grand Slam champions on tour.
Yes, there's quite a few.
So you could just make a top 10 of Grand Slam champions. You just go pick which 10.
That's what I would like. I would take a cup. Krejcikova probably wouldn't make it, but yeah, most of them would make it into my top 10. Yeah, for sure.
I can already think of a couple of others that you wouldn't want to see in the top 10 off the top of my head. But that's just knowing you. Anyway, someone who I know you would dearly love to be in the top 10 for a very long time is Coco Gauff, who came through against the 2021 semi-finalist Tamara Zidansek. Was a breakdown in the first set, but kind of rectified the situation. And I'm going to say, judging by the score, wasn't massively threatened after that, but I'm assuming you watched it. I didn't.
I didn't watch it either.
Okay, never mind.
My eyes were glued on Osaka, but I did when they cut to the part of Coco's match where she was playing Zidansek. I saw it, but I really wasn't heavily concerned. I remember vividly watching Zidansek's run to that semifinal, and she has a hell of a forehand. But she just hasn't been clicking. She's been down in the qualifying rankings for most of the tournaments she's been playing. So
Zidansek showed up for one French Open, and that is her career.
Yeah, I mean, she's not the only person to do that. Ex Gaston Gaudio. But yeah, it happens, and I think Coco did what she normally does. And I appreciate wins like this. I feel like Coco's season hasn't been very workmanlike. Like, she's had to really struggle. I mean, she was struggling against Clara Burrell a couple months ago in Indian Wells. Like, that should have never happened. So, 6-3, 6-4 wins are completely fine in my book, regardless of who they're against. Because I think she didn't she lose a set 6-love in Rome to Jacqueline Christian? Coco did?
Something along those lines.
Yeah, unacceptable. Unacceptable. So a 6-3, 6-4 win against Zidansek is fine with me. Yes, the Vickery match. Yeah, too close for comfort. Players that have had to qualify or are like 50, 60, 70 spots below her should not be troubling her the way that they have. I'm happy that she's won a lot of those matches because, it's good to grit out tough wins and get wins when you really shouldn't, but it shouldn't be a consistent trend. So yeah, happy with that win. And I think she goes on to, is her next round or opponent even known yet? Because so many matches didn't even get finished.
No, we did 4 matches and they were from completely different parts of the draw. So Swiatek, Kenin, Gauff, and Jabeur made it through. They're all in different sections. Jabeur made it through in 3 sets against Camila Osorio. Not massive.
You have to say her whole name now. I don't know what happened on the official WTA page, but like there was a moment there where she has shortened her name, but now it's back to being the full name. Maria Camila Osorio Serrano.
Thank you, because I couldn't remember the full name. I remember Maria Camila, and then I went, there's more after Osorio, but I can't remember what it was. So yeah, Maria Camila Osorio Serrano lost in 3 sets on Jabeur, who also beat Sasha Vickery, we mentioned earlier. And she looking looking kind of like Ons again, actually, by the sound of it. Like the Vickery match was drop shot heaven with flat forehands finishing, lots of tricky shots, making Vickery run all over the court. The match with Osorio, I'm not surprised that went through because Osorio is tricky on clay.
Very,
So overall, On's kind of she's kind of back where not maybe where Ons should be, but sort of minimum expectations.
I'm not convinced yet. If she, there's still not a name in the draw. You know what? I take that back. If she gets to the point in the draw where she should, based off of seeding, and gets to Ostapenko and beats Ostapenko, then I will start to say, well, maybe Ons is starting to turn the corner. But a match against Maria Camila Osorio is a match she should be winning. She should be beating Sasha Vickery as well. She's just not doing anything really convincingly yet. And unfortunately, we're almost a year later, and I still have not gotten the image of her losing that Wimbledon final out of my head. So that's not her fault. Well, it kind of is her fault, but I'm just not convinced yet. I think someone. Go ahead.
I guess Ostapenko is someone I would expect Ons to lose to, or wouldn't consider it a disaster for Ons to lose to normally.
I think, but Ons is the kind of player that I think would give headaches to Ostapenko. Like, yes, there will be moments where Ostapenko can just slap a winner because that's what she does. But all the trickery that Ons Jabeur brings seems like it would really annoy Ostapenko, and that's how you beat her. You just annoy her, and she wins, and she loses. I should say.
Take much to annoy Ostapenko, though.
That's the thing. You have to annoy her, and she loses. It doesn't take that much to annoy her. So that's why she's not a 2-time Grand Slam champion. Only a 1-time Grand Slam champion.
Jake, I will say On's looking fine physically. I haven't seen any signs that she's struggling with that, which is obviously what's been holding her back the beginning of the year and why she was on the crazy losing streak. I'm looking. I mean, like Jabeur does have a toughish draw. Does depend on outcome of what's happening tomorrow because she's playing the winner of either Leylah Fernandez or Wang Jinyu. No, Wang Jiu actually. One of the Wongs.
The left-handed Wong.
Yeah, it's the left-handed one. She's playing, which Fernandez was 5-3 up when that match got rained off. I would be totally down for a Jabeur Fernandez match. I feel like out of the two, Fernandez is probably more vulnerable at the minute, but then you're right. Ostapenko would be a whole different kettle of fish, but Ostapenko's got to get through Kenin.
Simon, wait, Ostapenko has to get through Clara Towson first.
She's get through Clara Towson, then Sophia Kenin.
And that's upset alert to me. I know Clara Towson is very rangy and sometimes she just pops up. You're like, oh, she is a really good player. But all of their matches have gone 3. I think they played a Lens final and they went 3 this year, I believe.
Yes.
Somewhere else.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's like that one, you have to circle that as if you can catch it, go for it. It's something that John's picked up before. I forgot to put it on my watch list for today, but also it was like clashing with a whole bunch of other stuff. Today's schedule was crazy. I can't remember what was on instead. I feel like Ostapenko Towson match was on at the same time as Shapovalov Tiafoe, and I wasn't sure which one to go for out of those two. On paper, had the schedule gone ahead.
That sounds like a mess. Shapovalov and Tiafoe.
But it would be a glorious mess. I mean, it's still going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah, I'd watch it, but I don't have high expectations of it being like super high quality.
Maybe, mind you, Ostapenko Towson would probably be varying quality depending on how much both of them are missing. We're going into a preview of tomorrow, which we shouldn't be doing just yet because we need to look at what happened today. So we've just seen Kotov beat Wawrinka. We talked a bit about that match already. Next, and we'll talk about Kotov's opponent, Yannick Sinner, who got through Gasquet and was clearly the better player, but Gasquet put up a fight and backed by the French crowd, of course, and made it sort of a decent showing in the end from the Frenchman, 4-2-4.
He's clearly past his prime. Gasquet is, no offense, but that's just what it is. I mean, the backhand is still glorious to watch. Maybe not as effective as it is aesthetically pleasing. And Sinner seems emphasis on seems to be healthy enough to, work his way through the draw. I think Kotov is going to be a threat, but he should still win that match on paper. And I'm just interested to see how Sinner continues on in the season. I think the Grand Slam after you win one is very important. Even if you don't win it, I think it's good. It's good to have a good showing, like get to the second week and show that, hey, I don't think anybody thinks that Yannick Sinner's Australian Open is a fluke, but following it up is very important.
I don't think anyone's ever followed their first Grand Slam up by winning their second straight away.
I know some people.
In the men's side. Venus did on the women's, I know that, but
yeah.
inside.
Capriati did too. Yeah, I can't think of any men. There has to be one, right? No?
Like, if you think about multiple Grand Slam champions, like Open Era, I'd have to really dig back for before, but Open Era, like Stan Smith didn't.
Federer was close. He won the 03 Wimbledon and the 04 Australian. So there was one slam in between where he didn't.
Out for the fourth round in the US.
Yeah, he was close, but no cigar, I guess. I can't. And Djokovic definitely didn't. He definitely didn't. So I don't know.
No, I don't think anyone has. Schwan is saying Bjorn Borg, but no, because Borg won his first slam in 1974 French Open and then didn't win the 74 Wimbledon. Like Connors won 74 Wimbledon, which is obviously having won his first slam at 74 Australia.
I wonder. This is random, but I wonder why Bjorn Borg's son, who plays on the tour, doesn't get more wild cards. Like, he officially gets one every time the tournament or the tour goes to Sweden, but I would feel like he would have more,
Probably because there's a reason why he only gets wild cards in Sweden. There's a reason behind it.
I just thought about it though. Like, I would imagine Bjorn Borg knows people at the French Open at Wimbledon. And kind of slide his son into the conversation. I would try to do that for my son or my child, but apparently it doesn't happen.
Maybe there's a certain point where you kind of go, yeah, it's a bit like Petros Tsitsipas, right?
Forgot about him
so far.
But Tsitsipas hasn't. Yeah, Tsitsipas is like right here, and Bjorn Borg is like right here. So
Damien would be the person to ask about Leo Borg and asking his opinion of him. I think because he's more likely to have seen him in action out of any of us. So there you go.
But Leo Borg, I don't even think Leo Borg was in the qualifying draw. At least I didn't pay attention to his name in the draw. If he was there.
Well, apparently that ranks us at the top 400. So yeah, that's not going to get you many wild cards, no matter what your name is.
All right.
Moving on. Yannick Sinner looking good. I think his draw is very favorable for him. He should be able to, especially now a couple of key threats are out. I think semi-finals is a realistic prospect for him. Kotov was a challenge in Madrid because I think partially Sinner was hurting and in pain from the hip. That doesn't seem to be a problem this time. So maybe Kotov will be less of a challenge again when they play Roland Garros on likely Saturday. No, what day is it? Friday. So there's that. So yeah, Yannick Sinner through. Probably it's interesting, right? The guy he's likely to meet in the semi-final is Carlos Alcaraz, who I've had a quick look at our Talking Tennis TNNS group, which feel free to join if you haven't already and play to see if you can outdo us at predicting draws. But Carlos Alcaraz is the guy that most people have actually gone for to win the tournament in that group, or at least I'd say maybe I don't think it's over 50%, but it's like he's clearly first out of all the options. He dropped a set to De Jong today, who
unnecessary,
kind of gave him a bit of a headache in the first couple of sets, seemed to want to go toe-to-toe with him in terms of giving a variety battle and saying, well, you can drop shot, look at mine. Probably shouldn't have dropped that set, but I would love to know your thoughts on this result for Carlos Alcaraz. And
Mr. Alcaraz Garcia. it's a bit of a trend for the top players. Maybe I shouldn't say top players, but the seeded men, maybe not always a top 5, but somewhere in there. I don't know what their mindset is when it comes to best of 5, but I don't like how some of them really play around with it. That they have like time and they have the ease to just drop a set and still win the match. I really don't like that. I'm not accusing Carlos Alcaraz of that, but I've seen Rublev did it in his opening round against Taro Daniel, and he won today, so I'm sure we'll mention him at least a little bit. And then Garcia Alcaraz dropped the set, and it's like, you know, it may be minute in the immediate sense, but I do think in the broader sense, like that's going to catch up to you when you find yourself in a semifinal or final, you know? That's just extra time on the court that you really didn't need had you been more efficient. And granted, you like the guys have to lace up their shoes, so you could be playing an opponent who just is treeing for a set. That does happen, but I do feel like sometimes the intensity dips somewhere in the best of 5 matches, and I really don't like that. And I feel like Carlos may have been guilty of that, because I didn't watch the match at all, but it said he was kind of trying to see who had the better drop shot instead of actually being efficient in winning the match and doing what he does well. So
Carlos mind does tend to wander a bit over 5 sets
because he has so many options. He can the court, especially a clay court, can just kind of be his oyster. He can do whatever he wants with it. But I just wish he would just be a little bit more efficient. I would really appreciate more efficiency, especially with what is it, an edema on his elbow or something of the sort.
He's got the protective sleeve. I don't know what the actual problem is.
The word edema has been in Carlos Alcaraz's vocabulary recently, so something's going on. I'm not a doctor, obviously, but edema sounds like something you can play through if it's not horrible. So he's clearly playing through a little bit of something with evidence of the sleeve. So that should be more of a reason to be as concise and efficient as possible. So
yeah, I mean, at the minute the injury, which Jake is asking about in the chat, his forehand, like I haven't seen it today, like producers saying it was on and off, which is good to know. I think but it might not necessarily be injury related. From what I've heard, he is when he fiddles with the compression sleeve, it's actually more due to him just fiddling with it because it's there, because he's getting used to it being there, rather than anything hurting. You know, like anything else, like, you know,
tape or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, if you've got that there, you kind of fiddle with it because you know it's there.
I like his outfit though. It's kind of Golden State Warriors ish. Looks good on the clay. So he moves forward. Who is his next opponent? We don't know yet, but it could be. It could be Arnaldi. Which, sign me up for that one. I want to see that.
Arnaldi.
It could be, if Arnaldi wins his second round, it would be.
No, it's not.
I made that up. Sorry, I made that up. Where is Carlos Alcaraz in the draw?
It's either Korda or Kwon. Most likely Korda.
Sorry, I had Rublev and Alcaraz mixed up for whatever reason. Yes. Sign me up for Sebastian Korda versus Alcaraz. I think Korda has actually beaten Alcaraz once on a clay court in Monte Carlo.
Depending on which Korda shows up.
Yeah, I mean, Korda's he's a lot better than Bjorn Borg's son, but he's also the son of a Grand Slam champion, and he's kind of overrated because of that, to me. But, sorry, I don't mean to be rude, but he is a little bit overrated. Like, Sebastian Korda hasn't done much that makes me. I guess, and I'm also a little bit biased because I listen to the Tennis Channel a lot, and they love putting him in the mix of like potential Grand Slam champions from America, and I just do not see it. But
I think he's got one of the more complete games out of the American men out there, but he's not really pushed on with it. So I saw him Wimbledon 2021, and I thought, oh, this kid could be going places, and then that just didn't happen. Like,
he's complacent to me.
But
his stroke production and the technicality behind his game. I didn't expect to talk about Sebastian Korda today. Sorry, guys. But his stroke production is great, but it kind of should be if your dad was a professional tennis player and you've been hitting tennis balls since like the age of 4 or 5. Like, your strokes and everything about your game should be very technically sound if that is your core of how you found the game. But it kind of works backwards because I'm sure he's comfortable. Like he doesn't desire, it's not a burning desire to have to win all of these matches because he's been comfortable for most of his life. Doesn't, like, his family plays golf, his dad is a former Grand Slam champion. It just, and that's kind of how he plays tennis. Like, he's just comfortable whether he wins or loses. But while you watch him, you can kind of get drawn into how beautiful the tennis looks instead of how, I don't want to say bad of a competitor, but he lacks something in the competition lane. But
Quarter chat done. Tell you what, someone else we mentioned earlier that we should probably circle back to as someone who is a real competitor.
Who's that?
Andrei Rublev.
Yes, he is. He is.
Through straight saves against Pedro Martinez in a match I thought might go 5, given how well Martinez has been playing this clay court season. I think John said something similar as well. But Rublev was ruthless in that match. Just, I don't know whether Martinez didn't show up or Rublev got the job done, but he wasn't leaking sets. He got the job done today in straights,
which I appreciate because Rublev is who I'm kind of talking about when it comes to. Is that from this French Open? That picture? Is that what he's wearing? Oh, I like that. Go ahead, Rublev. I'll ask this question to you, Nick. Is he a contender for this title? Do you think?
If you asked me before the tournament, I would have said barely. He would not have made my top 6.
He didn't make your top 10. Did you do ATP power rankings for the French Open?
I didn't do an ATP power ranking. He would have been in the mix for the lower end if I did.
Wow.
John did one, as you can see, coming across the bottom.
And Rublev's not in it? He won one of the Masters tournaments leading up.
Rublev's number 7. John.
Rublev's number 7. Okay, that's about where I would put him.
Yeah, like he couldn't be any higher than 7. Really, I struggle to see him winning ahead of the 6 guys ahead of him on that list.
The thing that I'm really looking forward to, I mean, and he won his match today. He should have beat Pedro Martinez every day of the week that ends in Y on pretty much any court, in my opinion. His next match could be against Arnaldi. He should also.
That's the one who you were thinking of.
That's what I was thinking of. Yes, he should win that too. But Arnaldi does present some problems, I guess, because he's an up and coming player. I'm looking forward to see what Rublev and Tsitsipas do in the 4th round.
Yes,
because both of them, if that's unfortunate for the draw that it fell that way, but unfortunately, Tsitsipas's ranking is what it is because he has not had a great. Past 52 weeks, Tsitsipas has not had a great 52 weeks, but he had a great Monte Carlo in Barcelona. So that kind of puts him on the radar. But if neither of them do it at this slam with how open it feels, I know Djokovic is still in the draw, Carlos is still in the draw, but we just mentioned Carlos in the sleeve, and Djokovic looks out of sorts routinely, which is fun for me. He looks out of sorts routinely on the court these days. Rublev and Tsitsipas need to take advantage of that. So if they both get to that 4th round match, I'll have that circled. And they both have looked fairly decent. They both won today too. So
I'm looking at sort of options for like sections that Tsitsipas could have ended up in.
Mm-hmm.
And really there was only like 2 sections that he would have wanted to ended up in. And that would be either Medvedev's section or Hurkacz's section. Really, out of the top 8 seeds.
Hurkacz is also somebody that I feel is like wastes a lot of energy in opening rounds, dropping sets that he doesn't need to drop.
He might be in a bit of a battle before it got rained off, but we'll see how that one goes. But yeah, Tsitsipas actually did get through today, and he dropped sets. He ended up almost getting taken to 5 by Daniel Altmaier,
who I really like, by the way. I really like Altmaier's game. He beat Sinner last year at the French Open.
He did. And it was a dynamic, it's a dynamic match. Obviously, Altmaier just got his way through the first round. And
5-hour match almost, yeah.
People, and I know that there were some of the team who thought, okay, he probably won't, he wasn't going to necessarily be competitive with Tsitsipas, but he went out there, he took the 3rd set, he was a breakup in the 4th. That match could have gone 5, and then anything could have happened. Although I do think overall Steph would have won it anyway in that 5th. But you never know how his mentality would have been
I wish
doing it.
Altmaier can just like take Tsitsipas on a backhand vacation for a couple of weeks and show him how it's done. Because Altmaier's game is beautiful and his backhand is actually beautiful and effective, whereas Tsitsipas is kind of neither. But still, Tsitsipas is still a great player. Don't get me wrong, but the backhand is a struggle to watch sometimes.
Tsitsipas actually said in his post-match interview that he likes playing other one-handed backhands like Altmaier because he says it's like playing himself.
I mean, I can see where he's going, but Altmaier, if I had to choose just backhands, because obviously Tsitsipas is the better player overall. It's just the proof is in the pudding. But if I had to just single out the backhand, I'd take Altmaier's backhand every day of the week.
Out of the two, yeah, I certainly do like the way he plays. It's very dynamic and exciting, and he probably helped provide the most interesting men's match of the day. The only one that involved De Jong split sets with Alcaraz, but it never felt like De Jong was going to beat Alcaraz, whereas there was a possibility that Altmaier might be pulling something off.
And we've seen Tsitsipas flub up second round matches and first round matches before. So,
well, Tsitsipas is going to be playing either the winner of either Sonego or Zhang in his next round. That could be interesting.
Yeah, I think Sonego has a win over Tsitsipas somewhere, somehow, some way. I don't know exactly where, but Sonego is always a tough out, and then Zhang Zhizhen presents problems because he's a really big, clean hitter. So, but Tsitsipas again should win that match if he's playing confidently and doesn't just go off the rails as he can sometimes.
If we do get that Rublev Tsitsipas match, though, I'm here for it because that would probably be the fourth round.
Yeah, I want to see that, and I want to see the winner of that go even further. Like, I don't want to see them losing.
The winner of that would have to probably get through Alcaraz.
Go for it. I feel like Alcaraz's window of winning Grand Slams is much wider than Tsitsipas and Rublev's. Like, they need to take advantage of what feels like a very open draw. They just have to, especially on the surface.
So before we move on to previewing, I want to ask you, because I did say earlier on in my preamble that Alcaraz seems to be the prevailing favorite amongst the Talking Tennis team. Is that what do you think of that sort of direction that everyone seems to be moving in?
Do you want to know who I made my 4 semifinalists for this year's French Open on the men's side?
Oh gosh, if it's anything like your women's, it's going to be absolutely nonsense.
Did you take a look at my women's? I think I tweeted it out. Did you take
weekly? Yes.
It's not that bad. Let's see. Hold on. I think there's one outlier that you're going to be like, "What in the hell, Miles? Wait, where'd it go? French Open men."
Yeah.
I'm trying to pull it up. Oh, view your bracket.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, my semifinalists are Casper Ruud is the first one out of that section.
Not weird. I could see that happening.
Yeah, not weird. The second one is, drum roll please, Jan-Lennard Struff. I think it's possible. I want to see it happen, actually.
That is plausible. Yeah, I can see him stunning Zverev.
Yep. And then the other one is Andrei Rublev. He finally breaks the curse in my fantasy world.
So Rublev beats Tsitsipas and Alcaraz.
Yes, he just beat Alcaraz. It can happen again. And the other one is, okay, this is a little bit of a long shot, but I feel like he has to reach a Grand Slam semifinal one other time in his career, and it's Hubert Hurkacz. But his first round match...
You have Hurkacz Sinner.
Only because when I was picking that, I was like, Sinner just feels like he's so protective of the long term of his career. I would not be surprised if he feels something kind of off in his hip again, and maybe not retire or withdraw, but just not have the physical reserves to go all the distance. Whereas Hubie Hurkacz feels like he's never really that injured and can go for on and on and on. You know,
I have noticed from both of your draws, by the way, that you've only picked as far as the semi-finals in the bracket. And
that's a human error. That's a human error. I fell asleep.
If you are right, You have no way of benefiting from it.
It's okay. I think it's going to be a wacky French Open anyway. Wait, John doesn't know my women's picks for the semifinals?
Say, was he not? Did he not watch the WTA Weekly back?
I can say it really quickly. I have it pulled up. Let's see.
Go for it.
My semifinalists for the women are Danielle Collins, Coco Gauff. Yeah, Collins, Gauff,
Paolini, and Sakkari.
No, it wasn't. Well, this person has something in common with Sakkari. They lost their first round match, so that was a dumb decision. It was supposed to be Sloane Stephens.
Yes, it was
Sloane Stephens.
Yeah.
So, how did you feel about Sakkari? How did you feel about? Maybe we can talk about that later. But Sakkari just. Ugh.
Yeah, slightly disappointing. I don't want it to be said.
But yeah,
I'm an understated British man. That's the best you can get out of me. So, all right, we'll look at the draw for the. We're going to look at order of play for tomorrow.
Let's do that.
Yeah, the order of play for tomorrow, which is packed because they've basically got to do the entire second round in a day.
Do we know the forecast for tomorrow?
There is going to be some rain, but not as bad as today.
Okay.
But it is that we are probably in for another late finish at Roland Garros.
And they should, if they have more space, they should put some of these outside matches that on one of the two courts. They should do that if they can.
They did that with Wawrinka Kotov.
Oh, that wasn't supposed to be on.
No, it wasn't supposed to be there.
Okay.
So they moved Wawrinka Kotov onto Suzanne Lenglen because I think they got through the Suzanne Lenglen schedule pretty decently. But yeah. So obviously, actually, interestingly, Chatrier and Lenglen, I don't think they've put anyone on that's missed a day. I think everyone who was supposed to be on an outside court is still on an outside court. Which is interesting. So I haven't had a good, so it's going to be a packed day of tennis, I think. I'm going to have to go through and work out what I would be watching. But yeah, I can't really make out very clearly what that is.
I can see. So Arina Sabalenka opens Philippe Chatrier tomorrow against qualifier from Japan, Moyuka Uchijima.
Who I do remember we did get asked. I can't remember who asked us earlier. What we thought Ukajima's chances against Sabalenka were.
I've never seen her play. Have you seen her play?
No.
That answers that. But I mean, they have to lace up the shoes, and we never know what's going to happen in a tennis match. But Sabalenka is obviously the favorite. Following that is Svitolina versus Diane Perry. Svitolina is a heavy favorite there.
Heavy favorite. I will probably be watching, if anything, because I enjoy watching Diane Perry play tennis.
Yeah. Aesthetically very pleasing, but not always effective. Tennis players have a weird way of doing that sometimes. And after that, it is the lovely Novak Djokovic versus Roberto Carabas Baena, which I think could get tricky for the current state of Novak Djokovic's game. Carabas Baena is not a big match player, but maybe he doesn't have to be if Djokovic is out of sorts and just keeps getting.
It might be very similar to the Herbert match where Djokovic scrapes 3 sets. Yeah.
It might, but he might drop a set too. You know, I mean, you're talking to me, Nick, so you know what I want to see happen.
And then the night match is Monfils Musetti, which we're actually going to do the night match for, and I'm going to be commentating on it.
Someone just said Uchijima is on a 19 max win streak. Excuse me?
ITFs. In ITFs.
Like any of them clay?
Yeah, on clay. She charged her way into the top 100 and managed to, and then qualifying. So she charged her way through and got all these wins. So she just nicked herself an automatic Wimbledon spot as well. But yeah, she went on a run sort of back end of the clay season on like the lower levels. So
is she the favorite now?
I think it's above pretty much any other player she's had to deal with so far.
Yeah. And then closing out Philippe Chatrier is Gael Monfils versus Lorenzo Musetti.
Which will be bringing you on.
That's the night match.
I'm going to be commentating on that one, hopefully with someone else as well.
Yeah, because you're going to be there for a while. That has 5 sets written all over it. Sorry.
It kind of does.
Not my favorite, but hey, we move forward. Court Suzanne Longlon opens up with interesting matchup-ish. Medvedev, who historically doesn't like the surface of clay, and Kesmanovic, who has had some of his best results on clay. Not calling an upset, but it could get tricky. Would not be surprised if Kesmanovic squeaks out a set or two. Medvedev is 3-0 against him in the head-to-head, though, and has not dropped a set, so never mind.
And Kecmanovic is, I think, kind of blows hot and cold quite often. I actually didn't think he would make it through his first round match. So
Medvedev?
No.
Okay. Kesmanovic. Yeah.
Kecmanovic.
Speaking of first round matches, Arantxa Rus takes on Rybakina, and Arantxa Rus got a first round win in the main draw of a slam. Yeah, against Kerber. And she doesn't have too many Grand Slam wins lately. I think she went on like a really long loss streak, losing first round of majors when she got to the main draw. So that was a good win for her. Kerber's not good on clay. She had a good run in Rome, but she's historically not good on clay. So Rybakina should be comfortable in that matchup. I think she will be.
I would agree with that.
Swarna is calling the upset, though.
I mean, maybe it's more down to Swarna's not big on Rybakina, so that's probably why.
We see each other, Swarna.
Wow. Okay. I'm pretty high on Rybakina. I will kind of promote her as more than write her off.
I don't write her off. I'm just not convinced. Like I said this in a space earlier this week. If she does not win a Grand Slam again, I won't be that surprised. I know that sounds like a hot take, but if she doesn't win one, I won't be. I'm not saying she's going to lose every Grand Slam match she plays from now on, but if she doesn't actually hold the trophy again, I won't be that surprised. There's just been things in ebbs and flows in her game that, make me question. Anyway.
Then we've got Zverev taking on Goffin. Zverev, heavy favorite. I think if that match had taken place 5-6 years ago, it would be a tasty one, but Goffin's not quite the same player. And then Keys versus Sharif round out the guaranteed matches tomorrow. Sean is saying it's going to be
Keys versus Sharif could be interesting only if Sharif gets all of Keys's balls back. Because Sharif can be a nightmare on clay, a true nightmare. But Keys can also just blast her off the court.
I feel like that's more likely. It's also because Sharif can also be very can misfire a lot.
Yeah, with that big old Western grip on her forehand, it can happen.
I don't see the need to necessarily go through every single match in the draw. But is there are there any matches that you're looking at going?
Last on Simone Mathieu, if I was there, I would stick around for Davidovich, Fokina, and Rude.
Yeah, that looks interesting. Battle of the nice guys.
Yeah, very much so. Just doing a quick scroll.
Azarenka Andreeva, I've got my eye on that.
Yes. Yes, that should be good.
I'm interested to see how Shelton Nishikori plays out.
I cannot believe Nishikori is still out there. I really can't. I feel like the last time I saw him play was Atlanta before the U.S. Open last year, and he got injured somewhere around there and didn't even play the U.S. Open. So that protected ranking is doing a lot of heavy lifting for some players these days, man. Just a lot of heavy lifting.
M is actually pointing out that Dimitrov is playing Marajan. I can see a few people keeping an eye on that one.
And Kalinskaya versus Andreescu.
Yes, Andreescu. I can't believe I couldn't believe she beat SST, and I was so happy to see that. And I think I don't want to get too high on it, but I'm looking forward to seeing what she can take to Kalinskaya.
Yeah, because I didn't think she was going to straight set Sorribes Tormo. Not at all. But I was happy to see it because, I have a soft spot for Andreescu. I just wish she would be able to string together matches and tournaments in a row. Hopefully she does. She has some kind of callus on her back, like on the muscle or bones in her back, but she's made it so that it's a good thing, that it's like help build up the endurance. I don't know. I have to do more research on that because callus and being a good thing doesn't necessarily equate in my mind, but
I'm just having a look at the rest of the order of play and just picking out matches that I'm like, oh, that could be good. So court 6 has got Samsonova and Anisimova.
Kaboli and Runa. could be good as well. Kaboli just got to the semis, I believe, of Geneva, and is a general good court player, good clay court player. And Runa, unfortunately, Runa can lose to just about anybody these days. Unfortunately, like he can beat almost anybody, but he can also lose just about anybody right now in his career. Oh, and Badosa Putin-Seva is also on the schedule.
Yeah, that should be a fun. I think that's going to be a fun match. Although the last time we said the Putin-Seva was going to have a fun match, it ended up being a lot more straightforward. Moving on. Tell you what, I am spotting Peyton Stearns, Daria Kasatkina. I think that could be a real battle. That's going.
And they played just last year at the French Open, and Kasatkina must have given her a bagel. But Peyton Stearns is on a 6 or 7 match win streak after just picking up the title in Rabat. So you never know. You never know.
Yeah. I mean, there's a few other matches. Collins is playing Danilovic in a rematch from that Madrid. Epic they had.
Yeah. 7-6 in the third in Madrid. Yeah. We mentioned Shapovalov and Tiafoe briefly. Mariano Navone versus Tomic Mahac. Those are 2 informed clay court players right now.
That's a Damien match if I ever saw one.
I know somebody's going to probably bring this up because I tweeted weeks and weeks ago, who is Mariano Navone? But I wasn't being mean. I really had never heard of his name. But now that I have, and I've seen highlights of his game, I kind of like it. And this is his first time being main draw at a Grand Slam, and he's seeded. So those clay court results in the South American swing and some in the European swing really have helped him. They really have helped him. And he's scrappy. And so I like Thomas Mahac's game too. So if I had court 11 seats available to me, I'd watch that one for a little bit, for sure.
You picked that over court 13, which has got Ostapenko and Towson second match on.
I'd be rooting for Towson. Ostapenko isn't a great watch for me. So,
I mean, I think her shots are absolutely breathtaking when they're on, and I've seen her play in live several times now, and it's certainly incredible to watch when it's all clicking. But I can see how it would be frustrating when other sort of things kind of happen. I guess the other match I think we'll both be keeping an eye on is whether Leylah Fernandez can close things out against Wong.
And if Vondrousova can turn things around against Katie Volynets, because she dropped the opening set 6-love.
I'm definitely keeping an eye on that where possible. And by the way, for those who might be curious about Swiatek's third round opponent, it's looking set to be Bushkova because she's 6-2, 1-love up against Jana Fett when they went off court.
I have a question about just courts in general at Roland Garros really quickly. This is the second day in a row I've noticed some marquee-ish names on court 14. Is court 14 because it sounds like it would be in the back alley somewhere, but the players they put on that court, is it like a special outside court?
I've never been. I don't know. I would imagine so. I mean, maybe someone who's been to Roland Garros can tell us. I'll just quickly answer Ashley. Carreño Busta is out. He
lost in the first round.
Round. Someone good.
Yeah, I think he took a set, actually. He took a set, though.
He did take a set. He took the opening set, but I can't remember for the life of me at the top of my head who it was.
Was it Rublev? No, it wasn't Rublev. It wasn't Rublev.
It wasn't Rublev, no. It was Navone. It was Navone.
Yes.
Anyway, so thanks for the gift of memberships, Ghosty. We were talking about it. So, but if you look at Wimbledon has big stands around court 12 and court 18, so they'll put marquee matches on there.
That's what I was thinking. The U.S. Open has court 17, and I've been twice, and that is on paper. If you didn't know otherwise, you'd be like, court 17 sounds way out there, but it does have an arena feel for an outside court. So that's what I'm thinking court 14 is at Roland Garros. Because I mean, why else would you put Runa, Azarenka, Vondrousova, and Dimitrov there? Those are decent names, you know. So
you need to put people on there who you think are going to pack the place out.
Yeah.
When it's not raining, which we'll have to find out whether it continues to rain tomorrow. But yeah, if anyone's ever been to Roland Garros, by the way, let us know. Would love to hear about sort of what it's like there. I think that's our wrap up today. Miles, thanks for coming on. It's been fun as always. talking tennis with you, and I hope to do so soon.
Very soon, my friend. Always fun.
All right. Well, keep an eye on the channel, everyone. We're going to be trying to bring you as many streams as we can tomorrow. Probably focusing on main courts whilst giving you plenty of updates in the rain. And as I've said a couple of times, I will be back in the evening to bring you Monfils Musetti. See if that one goes 5. It does seem to have that kind of epic all over it. So I'm looking forward to that. Please, if you can, may as well take your membership gift excuse me, opportunity up. Sorry, I'm allergic to promoting myself. Yeah, go and take up that offer, because that's going to be going really quick, because there's some really, really good members videos out there you want to check out. So definitely do that. But yeah, thanks everyone for joining. It's been great seeing all of your opinions in the chat. Sorry we couldn't get to all of them, but bring it back. We'll maybe talk about it a bit more on another stream tomorrow. Yep. So fantastic, everyone. Lovely to see all of you. Speak soon. In the meantime, take care and keep talking tennis. Number 10, Marketa Vondroushova. Number 9, Sloane Stephens. Number 8, Beatrice Haddad-Meyer. Number 7, Yelena Ostapenko. Number 6, Madison Keys. Number 5, Danielle Collins. Number 4, Coco Gauff. Number 3, Elena Rybakina. Number 2, Arina Sabalenka. And number 1, Iga Swiatek.
Ready. Play.
My name is Clara Towson, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
I am Francisca George, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Susan Leemans, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom. Yeah.
My name is Zainab Samaz, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hey guys, my name is Sasha Vickery, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Harris, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Paolini, and I'm a friend of the show.
Wow, Jasmine, you got it in one time. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis. Hey, thanks for taking the time to, well, you haven't got any choice actually. I'm just talking at you if you like. But I'm here also to present to you why I think it's not a bad idea and not that expensive as well if you become a member. And this is how you can do it, and this is what you can gain. So if we look here at the Talking Tennis sort of home page, if you like, on YouTube, we can see this little button here which says join. It is also pinned in the live chat as well, and you can also, I think, see it just below most of our videos, certainly the live ones and so on. Now, why is it a good idea to join and become a member? Well, in the live chat you can add little funny things, you can add emojis and all sorts of things, but possibly more importantly, you can get to access some live videos, such as this one here, where we look back on the last sort of few moments from the Billie Jean King Cup. So there are little bonuses such as this one, but there are many, many more. And in fact, if we have a quick look at all of the members only stuff, I repeat, you will see very, very quickly some of the top stuff that we've had for members only over the last 12 months since the channel began. Remember, these videos are for members only. You can become a member from as little as about $2 a month, €2 a month, £2 a month, something like that. There are various different things. Oh, and by the way, you'll also be supporting the channel. So it's a win, 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 win scenario. Let me just show you some of the members only stuff. For example, we've got an exclusive little clip there talking to Laura Siegmund, Laura Tsurenko, her encore interview, some doubles footage there from Monastir, the Germany press conference pre-tournament Billie Jean King Cup, Claire Burrell talking as well to the media in her press conference in Monastir, Storm Hunter and Alicia Parks interview, Rebecca Masarova, her press conference, Coco Gauff exclusive for members only, albeit it was in Madrid. But these are just some of the things, some of the interviews and etc. Like Lestien here, a chat with him, Emma Navarro, and so on and so forth. So many little bonus videos available for just €2 a month. So what are you waiting for? Become a member. Or don't. It's okay.